get better than a game 3 in this format. So this is it, winner take all. This is for the quarterfinals match. The winner of this makes it to the semis, makes our RoC Elite cohort. This is a very, very important game, and for this one, Spatula Steve in the orange is placing first. A pretty decent board. Obvious spot to me is this. You get a decent amount of ore. There's a nice ore, you know, I don't know what you'll call this. Whatever it's called, right? But there's a nice ore thing going on here. Not too much sheep though, so you could consider this. I think though, just you want the weeds, you want the wood. I mean, you don't really care about the wood, but like, you know, it's either this or this, and every other wood sucks. So you do kind of care about it. And then the sheep you can kind of get on the way back. This is a good spot. 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 There's so many good spots for you. So this makes sense. Pointing left. Again, just not valuing the ports as much as I think I would want to. If I was Special Steve, I would point right here. You know, obviously Sai could place here and could place here, but it's unlikely that he places here because who wants to place that for their first settlement? Here is okay, but like still, who wants to place there? Even if he does, that's fine. Just take it. Just take the ore. Otherwise, you get this nice spot. This is a really nice spot for ore. And then on top of that, you get this spot, which is the ore port and the extra wheat. It's not bad. Here, you're kind of aiming at this spot and this spot, which is fine, but like, it's not anything super exciting. For your first placement, I would always place towards the ports too, in general, right? It's kind of different in 1v1, but in general, for your first placement in a fours game, you pretty much always want to point towards the port, because more likely than not, you won't have the space to expand towards the middle. In this case, you do have the space to expand towards the middle, but you don't get the ports that come with, you know, that first placement pointing towards the port. And the ports will matter, especially in this game where you are self-reliant for the entire game. You can't make trades. Trades are not a thing in 1v1, right? So it's a whole different thing. Sai here, 20 seconds to place. I mean, this is just like insanely high production. The brick port is down there though, so it's not really great in terms of compatibility. This is fine. You get the sheep port. You would need kind of like these spots, and that it kind of doesn't really exist. It's kind of a tough board, right? But it does go there. I think hoping to just grab some extra ore on the way, which is a fair assumption. And so I think here looking for wood and wheat, will go something like this. Point down to the or no, point, honestly, no one can get a free road here. I would just like race. Just here, point right and race. It'll be a 50-50 race completely. I don't know if I would do it, but it wouldn't even matter that much if you won that race. So yeah, it's probably not worth it. But this is just not looking that great either. So it's tough. Man, yeah, man, I don't know. I would hate to be in this position. I think I would go here. Or I would go here. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's so tough. It's so tough. Yeah, it's like an almost impossible board to place in second position. That's crazy. I have no idea. I mean, this is like a very natural spot to me too. But like, it's not amazing by any means. You need the wood to build. I think this is probably the best you can do. And just go for the race, because First of all, this blocks off an extra spot that Spatula Steve could take. You go for the race. She goes for this spot first, maybe, right, if she cares, which is good. We don't really care about this spot that much. It's not great for production, and if not, then we just take the spot, and that's fine. I mean, we get the extra or production. For her, it's not as good because she already has a spot locked up in terms of production. If she places city there, it doesn't help her that much, right? So that's exactly what he does, which is crazy. Like, it's as if he's like, he can hear what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm glad that we kind of feel like we're on the same page here, where he can have the access to the ore, and you know, the sheep port obviously helps. But then obviously forcing this erase. So this is a very interesting spot now that Spatula Steve is in, and able to claim some sheep and a good amount of brick. It's a race. It's a race. So whoever gets the 8 on their turn, that's all it is. Whoever gets the 8 on their turn. So the first 8 will determine the winner of the race. But Spatula Steve may not want it either. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I'm super curious to see who gets this one. These are really good games. Like, I don't think I could imagine like playing this. It's just like so sticky. Like, what is this position that you have to put yourself in? Like, you're literally forced. I mean, so off the bat, in terms of general production, you know, Spatula Steve is ahead. You know, has the ore production, has all 5 resources for production, has less sheep, but that's okay, right? And the 8 rolls on Sai's turn, and Sai does good. And rolling another 8. These coordinated 8s are going to be so huge for Sai, and that's the reason that I think it'll be close, right? And I think, you know, Spatula Steve has proved me wrong before, proved me wrong last game. But somehow I think Sai will win this. I do think Sai will win this. Getting the early settle. I think a settle will come soon for Spatula Steve here. But if I'm red, this is really nice. If I'm orange, this is really nice. So they're kind of playing symmetrical games, right? There's a common theme of just sharing spots, sharing production, and who will kind of edge the other player out, right, on the margins there, which is really cool to see, especially when the play is this high level and this close, right? Okay, Spatula Steve sitting. That's absolutely massive. So Spatula Steve here is ahead on the ore production and has a decent amount of wheat to back it up, and now has a sheep to back it up. So yeah, maybe my pick was wrong. I could be wrong. If these 8s just aren't hitting, and this is just so nasty, right? Because this just completely ruins the coordinated 8s, which is already, right? It's like you're relying on one number for a road. But now you're not even relying on one number for a road. You're just relying on, you know, the robber to move at all. Oh, man, yeah, it's a tough world out there. I'm buying a dev card, 4 for winning and buying a dev card. Hate to see that, but it has to be done sometimes. And Spatula Steve is in great shape. I think this first placement is just so crazy that, you know, it just like absolutely puts you ahead to begin with, because the remaining spots are just not as convenient, right? And this is just a really smart play also to not go for this, but go for this because you know that you want to get to the spot for the extra sheep production and the ore production. If you had placed here to begin with, what does the extra sheep do for you? Here, if you place with the three free resources, you get the one sheep that you need to settle, and then you're just rolling for roads. Second city here for Specialist Steve with one dev card. It's looking like a runaway. Oh man, an absolute punishment right there too. And this is just an absolute slugfest. But Sai cannot seem to keep up. And now being locked out of this spot, and with the settle, Spatula Steve will claim production on all three ore spots. Something Sai will be very far from, and this is just a terrible spot to be in. And even though we have the same read, you're relying on an 8 and a 4, and that's just like too high variance, I guess, right? And you did win this race, but this was maybe more of a trap position than anything as useful as it looked. But I don't know. I mean, that's kind of tough, you know. Looking back, it looks a little bit, you know. Hindsight is always 20/20, but like it's tough. This is just a really tough board to play second on. Doing his best to kind of come back, but just getting absolutely destroyed. Just getting absolutely destroyed by the robber. And yeah, I mean, this is game over already, I would say. Spatula Steve by far and away ahead. And 9 VPs with 3 dev cards in hand. It is a smoking, like a... It's late, I don't know. I mean, I've been recording these for just as long as they've been playing them. And it is... what time? It is 2 o'clock in the morning, so sometimes you gotta do those things, you know. When duty calls, you answer. But an absolute smoke fest, right? Like, it's just like crazy massacre here. Absolutely lopsided, taking down longest road, and still has 3 VPs in hand with, or three dev cards in hand with 10 VP showing. So, could have 13, could get to 13 very easily, and then from there, largest army. So if those aren't knights, they will be. Okay, building 2 roads here to kind of lock down the settlement spot. Makes sense. That makes me think getting to 11 means... Yeah, you need to get the settlement anyways, because if you're going to get to... Yeah, you need that settlement anyways. But able to city, it won't be enough. But it's a good effort, right? Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. This is going to get you a little bit more ore, but... you know, you would have liked to settle there earlier. Getting the settlement down very quickly. And 10 cards in hand. Is this game? It is not. So 11 VPs, buying a dev card, 3 dev cards in hand, and on par in this race. Just just so destroyed. Like any 8 is just so painful to watch. It's only an 8 or a 4 that really does anything for Sai here, and that's just too much. It's just, I mean, I would have probably gone there too in his spot. Like, I've talked it through and I kind of thought about the same options. I don't know. Where would you guys have gone if you played second? I don't know. You guys tell me. Specialist Steve with 16. Absolutely massive rolls here. Just crazy production. And this has got to be GG's here. It's a good game. Good game, good game. 15-4 victory. And that's how it goes sometimes, right? Sometimes these series, right, they start off one way and then they evolve into something else, right? It's kind of about learning your opponent as well, right? Learning their tendencies over the course of the games and adapting to it, figuring out, you know, where you can exploit them, what they might favor too much. And 99-34 just tells the whole story there. You don't really need to look at anything else. You know, these dice stats are kind of crazy. And if you notice, the 4s did not roll at all, which definitely contributed. And pretty much all the 8s didn't really help because the brick was blocked. So it was just a terrible production game for Sai. And that's how these games go sometimes, right? They're absolutely lopsided, they're absolute steamrolls. And 99-34 says it all. So, after returning, after a short break there, Specialist Steve joins the RoC Elite cohort for the Wild Card Tourney. Made it to the semifinals. It was a great performance by both. GG's to Sai. And yeah, we hope you see more matches like this, right? More series like this. 2 former champs, you don't see that very often. Fate wills it so sometimes, right? And when fate wills it so sometimes, we're here to capture that. And I'm happy to have captured it, and we have our first semi-finalist here in Specialist Steve. It's good to see a familiar face. And yeah, that's it for this series. And that's it for this quarterfinal series. I will see you guys at the next one. Take care and peace.